All right, hello everyone. This is Chris at Carlone Music, Carlone C Music, and this is the Toons and Tunes podcast for animators and musicians to talk about their creative process. For the first episode, I got my good pal and animation wizard, I call him. He's the wizard with the pen. It's Extellus. Peter. Say hi, Peter.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
So, Peter, when I was thinking about doing this podcast, Peter was like the first option for me because, number one, he's probably one of my favorite people to work with and write music for because his animations are so incredibly unique. And also, he just is such a great guy, and he's super flexible about when he works and how much effort he puts in. I feel like I'm constantly like hitting you up to do crazy backgrounds. And you're always like, oh yeah, dude, I'll do it.
No.
You always got such a good attitude.
God damn.
And it's almost like, I feel like our channels have almost kind of like merged, where you can't go to either of our channels without getting like both of us, like my music and your art. In
yeah,
channels.
I agree.
And I did some deep diving today. And I figured out that the first email I ever sent you was on Newgrounds. And it was on June 24th, 2015. Isn't that crazy? So almost 5 years.
Oh my God.
5 years.
I didn't think about it, but yeah, 5 years, god damn.
And I remember just like being like, man, you know, I'm in grad school. I want to start writing music for stuff. And then I saw your Nights episode 3. And I was like so blown away, but I saw you using stock music, and I'm like, dude, this is too good to be using stock music. So I hit you up, and I was super pumped when you responded. And from there, we've just been kind of jamming it. You know what our first video together was?
I made you a background with like mountains and stars, I think.
Dude, even before we did the background stuff. September 8th, 2015. I think like, what was it? 2015, September 8th.
I think it was the machine one.
Yes.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, tell me about that. That was super unique, that project.
That was just me like just racing to make basically anything because I was enrolling into college and I needed more. I mean, I thought I needed more pieces to, like, pass the exam, and I just splurged something as quickly as I could. But yeah, it was weird. But yeah, your music really fit inside of it.
I remember thinking that was like the coolest style animation, even though it was just kind of different scenes and there was not really a story. You know, it was just like it was almost like a test. It was really like a test for me.
But it was for me too, actually.
Yeah, and that's what I feel is like really great about us working together is we are constantly swapping the creative process. So sometimes I'll hit you up and I'll be like, dude, I got a song, can you write a background for it? And so that's challenging you to listen to this music and create like something from a blank canvas, you know? And
yeah, it is.
Sometimes you're hitting me with like a picture or video or something. I gotta score it, come up with something just based off a visual. I think that's such a cool way to practice.
It is, definitely.
Like, I'm very gracious to have you, because I've learned a lot composing off of your stuff, but more than anybody I've ever, like, written music for. Just, and that's especially your style, too. Your characters tell such a story without even, like, talking. That's what I loved about the Nights, is they don't even talk. I don't think there's any animations that you do where characters talk.
Yeah. Oh, I did the handcuffs one. I did that one.
That was
a test.
Yeah, that was other people's audio, right? What was that?
Yeah.
It was like a guy getting arrested.
Yeah. But I swapped. In the original video, he's saying, I can break these cuffs. And I swapped it so the character says, can I break these cuffs? And then he gets mad because the cop tells him, no, you can't break those cuffs. But Yeah, I basically did that one just because I was like, okay, I'm making everything. I'm making a lot of characters and a lot of animation that characters don't really talk. So I was afraid, I was avoiding it, avoiding trying to lip sync. And
Mm,
I basically, okay, I'm gonna do one short thing just to see if I can do it. And if I can, if I feel satisfied, I'm not gonna force myself to do it in the next one. And
yeah,
I was.
yeah. I just feel like if the character started talking in Knights, it would take away from it a little bit.
It would.
There's like a simplicity in them only being able to react, and
I
even the
gotta say, I
yeah,
was, yeah.
even the foley in that is very minimal. There's not a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
sounds going on.
That might be just my laziness, I think, maybe.
No, no, that's on me too. I think we made it pretty sparse in like the sound world because you want the visuals to tell the story too. You
I
know,
do.
yeah. And
I gotta say, I was really inspired by. There's a channel, you can look it up. It's called Gobelins. It's French school for animation, and the short animations that those guys put out is like, I don't know, most of them really do put a lot of studios to shame, I'd say. And they really inspired me.
can you
So,
say the name again?
Gobelins, Gobelins.
Gobelins.
If you
Nice.
want, you can look it up.
Yeah,
I mean, I suggest you look it up, definitely.
yeah, and for people who I imagine a lot of young artists are gonna look at this too, and when we look at your art, it's like unbelievable because you look at it and you're like, one person did this. So how do you do it? How do you be the one person who does the backgrounds, the storyboards, everything?
I have no idea. Like, it's really weird for me too when you put it like that. I was basically when I saw all those shorts from Gobelins and other YouTube animators, I was like, okay, there's one person behind all those videos. Like, I don't know, I just never felt. I guess the thing that didn't stop me from trying to do all those animations as one guy was because nobody told me that I couldn't. Like, if somebody came along and said, "Dude, you're crazy for trying to make animations on your own," I would probably have given up even before I started. But nobody did that, so I was like, okay, well, I mean, everybody else is doing it. I might as well. But then it turned out like a lot of people don't actually do it alone, which is, I don't know. Maybe I should have never found out about that. But then again.
How much of your day do you spend drawing or animating?
Uh, Not as much as I'd like, honestly. I don't know. I feel like if I was like working 9 to 5 job making my animations, they would be coming out a lot faster, and I guess I'm trying to improve that as much as I can. I mean, I'm working on it to, like, um, so far I'd say I never spent 8 hours working on something in a single day, which is something that I'm not really proud of, but
8 hours is a long time. It's a long time to sit
it
and
is, it
focus.
is. I'd say max full work time was like probably maybe 6 or 7 hours so far.
It's good to get up and get moving too. I
Yeah,
think a lot of people don't realize how much sitting is in this. I mean, even me, musician, I sit a lot, so I try to
way
wake
too
up and
much. Yeah.
get moving before if I know I'm gonna sit for like the rest of the day, work on a project. Definitely try to get
Yeah, there's
moving.
always this. Yeah, there's always this the thought in the back of my head. Oh man, you gotta move. You gotta move your legs. You're gonna get a heart attack. You gotta move. But like,
Sitting's the new
hopefully
smoking.
not. What?
Sitting's the new smoking. That's what
Yeah,
they're
it
saying.
is.
So what's the dream, Peter? Like, I work with a lot of people. They always would say, the dream is to have a show. When I have a show, it's paid for by a studio. I know I'll know I made it. But I'm realizing now that a show is the start to the success. It's not the end.
Yeah. Well, I'd say I've always liked Ghibli movies, and I always liked Miyazaki as a director. So I guess not becoming the next Miyazaki, but like being able to make movies in your own studio is the dream, I'd say.
Right.
Like having your own studio, yeah. Having your own animation studio and being able to produce feature films is what I'm aiming for, but not necessarily. I mean, I'm fine with like having a web series with animation that's good. I mean, just me getting to a point where I'm really satisfied with my animation is, I'd say, the main goal, and I think like the rest of it comes along with it, like the studio and the stuff.
Right. So you're finishing school. What's the next step after?
Um, just trying to get as much work done as quick as possible, and yeah, what I just said, basically, maybe starting my own studio, I think, but I'm not sure. Like finding a few people that are like-minded and like trying to work on a really big project together. Maybe get some funding or a Kickstarter, something like that.
Yeah, that seems to be the way to go right now for big projects.
Yeah,
The funding is
definitely.
the issue. And now that we're in crazy times right now, it doesn't seem like time is the issue anymore. People
Yeah,
have time now to do
time
this
to
sort of
spare.
thing. Yeah. So we worked on a project together a while ago. Shrek Retold. Have you heard?
Oh yeah.
Have you heard what's coming up?
Oh no,
Shrek 2 Retold?
really?
Yeah.
I haven't. I actually haven't.
Yep. It's gonna happen. And I even asked Grant, can I mention it on the podcast? He said, yeah, go for it. So
Nice.
I think I don't know if you want to be roped back into that, but I
Well,
remember sitting back and watching the whole thing and being like, oh my god, what have we done? What have we become
I've
a part
actually
of?
no, but I've actually watched the first one. I think like 2 or 3 times, and from beginnings to start.
It's wild. It one of my friends, he I sent it to him. I said, hey, check out this thing I wrote music for, and he said to me, dude, that feels like a marathon I didn't know I'd been training for my whole life.
God damn.
That
Yeah,
was a huge undertaking of a project.
it was. I watched Grant's. I watched Grant's. He did an April Fool's joke right after releasing Shrek One, where he basically the April Fool's joke was like, "Hey, it's Shrek Two came out," but like he was just sitting doing an interview with himself. So
Right.
I watched that. He said he almost went crazy making it. It was demanding.
So he's making another. That's good. They also did the Sonic movie one. That was absolutely awesome. They did that
Yeah,
with original audio too, which I thought was a great choice
yeah.
for them. But that's a cool project. So I
But
don't know.
I gotta say, the first Shrek movie, I some people that I know, I shared it with them, and some of them did not see the first Shrek, but it still felt like a movie. It still made sense, and I think like the music and the sound is what put it all together. Because without it, it just would have been a bunch of disjointed scenes that didn't make much sense.
Well, I mean, your segment from that I think was probably one of the most popular, like little chunks of it. People love that style, and I know a lot of people were saying, yeah, I wish I could have the whole movie like that, like a Miyazaki movie of Shrek, and there's
God
no
damn.
dialogue, just kind of these picturesque landscapes with them like journeying. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a nice little break from the chaos of the movie. I really felt like it was almost like a deep breath moment from the constant like shifting of
From the
character.
memes.
Yeah, yeah. So that was fun. So be on the lookout for Shrek 2 Retold. Shrek Retold 2? Shrek 2 Retold. I don't know.
Shrek 2 Return,
Shrek
I
2
think.
Retold. Yeah. So we did a project, and I was just looking back on this because I was reminiscing on us working together. The Four Seasons of Gondola.
Oh yeah.
That was a fantastic project. Talk about that one.
Well, it all started. I was browsing 4chan, the WorkSafe GIF section, and they do a lot of threads over there that are centered around gondola. So I basically just saw them like this little creature standing behind a nice background with some music, and I felt like, okay, I can definitely do something like that. I mean, it would I think it would look nice, it would feel nice, and it would be some good practice. So I did one. I did one as a test that was really simple, and then after that one, I did the goddamn the beach one, the beach gondola, the first one,
Mm-hmm.
and people noticed it and said they really liked it. So I think someone suggested I should do another season, and I did. And then by the time I finished that one, I felt like okay, I can go all the way. So why not? I did the winter one and the spring one. Yeah.
The winter one is still remains to this day in my background on my computer. I just love that cozy vibe. Also, what a great way to practice your art, drawing all the seasons, and then also with music. Trying to associate all the seasons with music, trying to capture the vibe of winter and autumn and stuff. It's little exercises like that when people are asking, how do I start writing music for movies? How do I start writing music for games and stuff? I'm like, man, just grab yourself someone else who is trying to get better at their craft too, trying to get better at their art, and work with them. Like, work together on getting better, work on projects together.
Yeah, that definitely is the key, I think. Or also, when people ask me how do I get into animation, I always say, like, give yourself a challenge and start out small. I mean, when I remember when I think back to the first night's episode, I really didn't start out small, but I suggest other people do. And if I was to start again, I definitely would like make something that's only 10 seconds or 15 seconds. And if you see you can, if it's really easy to make something that's 15 seconds in length, you can just pump it up to 45 seconds or a minute or even more than that. Just don't bite off more than you can chew, definitely.
Is that kind of what you feel like you did with the Willow Wiggles short?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we played it safe. I mean, yeah. Well, a bunch of my friends, well, just suggested we should do something together, and I came up with like we should do an animation. So we took something really simple and tried to just basically tried to finish it. Like not bite off more than we can chew, but like start the project and finish it, no matter what it ends up looking. So yeah.
So the dynamic of working with other people versus working alone, what's that?
Oof.
What's that like for you?
I gotta think about it.
It's a tough one because I find that when I'm working with someone and they're not as pumped as I am about what I'm creating or what we're creating together, it can totally derail what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. I think like I mean, yeah, you're right, definitely. Because we were in a similar situation, but we made it through. But if I was like, if one person is pumped and the other one isn't, it's gonna demoralize the group.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's how I feel kind of like freelancing too, is sometimes I get brought onto a project and I have, you just have to be excited for it. You have to be excited you're a part of it, even if maybe it's not paying you well, or maybe you're not as psyched about the content, or maybe it's not going to take off, or maybe you even feel like, man, there's no way this is going to get done. There's no way this is going to finish. You still gotta be pumped about it, because you got a gig. A gig is a gig.
I gotta say, because I have had like a freelance project before, and in some of them I wasn't pumped. I was like, okay, this theme, I just took up the job because it's paying, so I guess why not. People told me don't ever refuse a job from a person for the first time, from somebody, because they're not gonna be coming back to give you more jobs. But I'd say it did more damage than it did good, basically.
Right.
Like, if you're not pumped and you can't get yourself pumped for the project, you're just gonna end up spending way too much time working on it and stressing over it and not being able to work on what you really want to work on. So
yeah. Peter, we're about to hit the 20-minute mark. You know what time that is? It's time for drawing bits. It's time for Peter's one minute, the power minute draw. Peter's got 1 minute. I made some posts on social media. What would you like to see Extellus draw in his beautiful style? So I'm going to start the timer. You ready? I've got a couple of these. We don't have to do them
Okay.
all, but
I'm
think this would
streaming.
be
Am I
great.
streaming?
Yeah, it's perfect. Okay,
Okay.
ready? First one is from @TooMuchProtein, who's my good friend Nolan. Nolan is a hilarious creator. He made. Have you ever seen Jeff Purdy?
I can't say I have.
It's this video where he basically just edited everyone in an episode of Jeopardy to say Jeff, and it has
my
like
God.
millions of views. It's so stupid, but it's so funny. Anyway, Nolan, hilarious guy. Nolan, he would love to see Extellus draw 1 minute on the clock. Various power tools.
Oh my
Va-
god. Okay.
various power tools. Would love it. It would make his day. Various power
Okay.
tools. 1 minute on the clock.
Starting now.
Starting now.
Okay, let's go. Let's go, baby.
So walk me through what you're doing here.
I'm drawing a jackhammer.
I never really get to see people do this part. I feel like I always just get to see your finished products.
Oh, well, yeah.
But it's pretty awesome to see how you kind of visualize things. But also, this is from a guy who drawing was never my thing. So, but I know how hard it is. So I think I have some decent respect for
Holy crap.
this sort of thing.
I wish I was more creative though right now. A jackhammer, goddamn.
That's a mean one.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
God.
Look at that.
Oh my God.
Look at
Look,
that. Stop
it's-
the clock.
it's
48
crooked, it's
48
crooked.
seconds.
No, what's this? This shouldn't be there.
With only 48
Okay.
seconds. Oh my god. 55
Uh,
seconds. That's amazing.
One more? Nah, forget about
Oh
it.
my god, that's amazing. Look at that.
Thanks, but yeah.
The
A
Extellus
crooked jackhammer.
power tool jackhammer. That's awesome. Thank you. All right, ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Next one. It's from Minum Mats on Twitter. Let's go easy on him. How about just a night?
A knight. Okay.
1 minute night. Here we go. This is kind of like your trademark thing. This is what drew me to your style too. I love the fantasy genre. I love adventure. I love all this sort of kind of like medieval stuff. Always love this stuff. We talked about it too. I used to love Age of Empires too. What a fantastic game.
Me too, dude. Goddamn.
It's such a good game, and so I was immediately drawn to your style with the knights, and also fantasy music too. I get a lot of comments that just say, "Hey, can you put all your music in like a playlist on YouTube because I want to put it in the background of my D&D sessions." I think that's so awesome.
Yeah.
To just think that I write a song for one purpose, but it can be on a bunch of different adventures. Look at that knight,
Well,
heavily armored.
here he is.
Oh my gosh, you drew your character on what's that game we play? What's that game that we're always beheading each other on?
Mordau.
Mordau. Look at that.
Yeah.
With 4 seconds to spare, there's a knight.
A knight with a jackhammer.
Love that one. All right, this next one I think is pretty funny. I told you about this one. I warned you. Cartman, your own style of Cartman from South Park.
Oh my god.
1
I
minute on the
gotta
clock.
remember.
Here we go.
Okay.
So, do you feel like you're taking a lot more commissions lately?
Yeah, I do.
What's that like? I feel like there's freelance almost has a negative connotation sometimes, but
No, this is goddamn. This is not Cartman.
I'm making you talk while you do it too, because I don't want it to be easy on you.
Okay. Well, I am taking a lot of more commissions, so. But it's been, like, I think I shouldn't have, maybe, but I think I'm gonna make it alongside with faculty responsibilities or college responsibilities.
Right.
Goddamn, this is not Cartman. This is not Cartman.
No, it's awesome. It's like Cartman if like a steamroller got to him a little bit.
Yeah.
Or he washed up on shore and is a little bloated. Oh, he's always bloated. Actually, this is Cartman that could have been on a diet a little bit. All right, 1 minute up. Nice. Look at that Cartman.
God.
Wow, South Park season 12 looks amazing. All right, last one. Ready?
Yeah.
A man made out of broccoli. A man made out of broccoli. Broccoli man. For all our
Okay.
vegan listeners out there, or just listeners who have a healthy diet.
I think I've got it.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go. So the magic flute, that one was one of my favorite little shorts. That one's on my channel. That style where everything's kind of like almost like a sepia tone color. What is that? Almost kind of like a storyboard style. Because I see a lot more animators doing that style where they don't colorize their backgrounds now. But for me, it doesn't take anything away from viewing it.
Yeah, I don't. I actually, the style. I think like I'd say it's more of the old handheld console style, like having
Right.
limited colors. That's what I do. Sometimes I try to like limit myself with a color palette because I don't know. I just find it appealing. The old pixel art, so I try to like emulate it within my own style.
Well, I love those like complement color palettes, like how they always say light blues go well with like deep oranges and stuff, like
Yeah, yeah.
complementary. And I see that too in a lot of your oh, our minute's done here. Wow. Broccoli Man. That looks like wow, that looks like if the Dark Souls artist got a hold of like a VeggieTales rendition.
Yeah, yeah.
And you had to fight.
It's gonna be a boss.
You had to
Yeah.
fight this guy to truly become a warrior of Christ. Like, oh my god.
He'll probably be making a sound like.
Yeah, I love that. And his sword is just a big stalk of celery.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Nice. The 1 minute.
There they go.
1 minute bit, drawn bit. Amazing job, Peter.
Thanks.
You're wicked talented, as we'd say.
Oh my god. There they are, the boys.
All right, so if we have to name this show, yeah, The Boys. Season 1. Our character on the top there has to go on a diet, and his piece of broccoli becomes sentient, and starts destroying his house. So he decides to remodel his house. So a knight with a jackhammer comes over to help remodel his house.
Yeah.
There we go. The Boys Season 1 coming to Hulu and Netflix, streaming only. All right, nice. So, what do you feel motivates you? Is it just to create the best sort of thing? Do you want more people to reach out and see your music or your art?
I'm not sure.
Do you feel like you do certain things for the audience, or do you feel like you do it just for you?
I feel like I mostly do it for me, but if somebody like in the comment section or somewhere else expresses like, oh man, I wish you did something like that, I usually take it into heavy consideration.
Yeah.
If they want to see something in my show, but like in my animated series or an animated short, but I guess like 90 or 95% I do it for myself. I was thinking about it, and I was kind of afraid of when I started animating. I thought to myself, okay, am I doing this because I want to do animation, or am I doing this because it's the hot thing on the internet right now? Because I started doing it like 2014. There was still some YouTube animation going on back then, and I was kind of afraid I was only doing it because, like, yeah, it's the hot new thing on YouTube and you can get big. But I guess it ended up not being the case, which is why I'm really glad about it.
Yeah, you feel like now it's become a goal, and it's great to have something that is a goal to get better at. You never feel like you're
Yeah.
wasting time. You feel like
Yeah,
you're always working for something. See, I asked this question because you know, sometimes I feel too like, man, sometimes I just want to write what I want to write, you know, and I don't want to write songs that I feel like are going to get a ton of views. And I think that's what's kind of unique about our stuff is you're constantly drawing pictures in different styles. Just like I'm trying
Yeah.
to constantly make music that's different styles. Like I was worried like, oh man, my channel is going to become like the orchestral movie score, epic cinematic kind of like music channel. But I'm like, there's more. I can write more styles of music. So I didn't just want to limit myself to one. It's probably like you don't want to just limit yourself to drawing knights, you know?
Yeah, I actually like when you said 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago when you said the fantasy thing that it really. I mean I really like fantasy thing, but I have the fantasy theme, but I'd say I'm more into sci-fi than fantasy, as I found out
Right.
fairly recently. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna be making any more fantasy style. Like I was thinking, when I think about fantasy, I think I like low fantasy more than high fantasy. Low fantasy being stuff that doesn't have too much magic in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like
And I know you're a
I
big
gotta
fan
say,
of Dune too.
yeah, I gotta say, like from of all the things I've seen, Lord of the Rings does magic the best. I'd say, like it's really scarce, and when Gandalf does something magical, it's really special. So that's what I'm aiming for
Right. He
when it
doesn't
comes to
just walk
fantasy.
in and start like mowing down enemies.
Yeah, unlike Harry Potter, where I like Harry Potter movies, but as opposed to that magic, Gandalf is like he does it rarely, and I really like the mysteriousness of that.
Right. That's great.
I forgot where I was going with this.
It's okay.
I was gonna say, the sci-fi thing, yeah. But right now I'm working on an animated short. I sent you the animatic, and
I'm
that's
excited
gonna
for
be a
that.
sort of sci-fi.
I got
Yeah, and it's also gonna be my finishing piece for my master's degree.
Dude, speaking of finishing pieces for master's degrees, that's awesome. I got huge Dune vibes when I watched that. I love that. And with the movie coming out, I just that style is
Oh,
very
nice.
cool. For my
I love Dune.
master's finishing project, I literally had you kind of mix down all the Knights episodes, and then I had like a mini orchestra play it, and I had like a screen come down in the concert hall, and I scored Knights 1 through 3, and at that point Knights 4 hadn't even come out yet. Or maybe it had, but I didn't include it. I don't know, but that was such a crazy thing. People were like, "What is it? Is there like an end to it? Is there more to this like Knights thing? Do they ever talk?" That's what I thought.
Nice.
But
I
that
actually,
was so cool.
yeah, I've seen it. I've actually, you sent me the video. I showed it to my parents and my grandparents and my brother, and
Some
they were
random
really
guy
excited.
in America just wrote
Yeah,
music
that was
to my
that was
like short film. It's crazy what can happen when two kind of like-minded creators, you know, get together and want to create stuff together.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was cool. So congrats to you for finishing up.
Thanks, dude.
That I feel when I look at your art, I see like that's someone who their education is complete. You know, like just get them out there and start working. That's what I think. when I
As
see
soon as
art.
possible, yeah. Thanks, dude.
So for the people who really really love Knights, what do you have to say about a Knight 6?
I gotta say it's coming.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it really hard. It's been like I don't know. It's been basically 2 years since Knights 5 came out, or 3. I'm not sure. It was a long time, goddamn. But I'm gonna be working on it, and I think because I feel like when you start making things, the first thing that you make without much thought, which was Knights basically for me, usually ends up being a lot better than the things that you spend like a year thinking about or planning out for some reason. Like that first thing, it's the most honest, I think. So
Yep.
I'm gonna be working on it, and
Well, it feels
definitely.
effortless when it kind of just flows. I mean, there's been
Yeah.
times where we've sat and we're like, all right, we want to do like a short, funny video, and the ideas kind of just don't flow when you sit down and you give yourself structure and boundaries. I feel like a lot of our greatest stuff has just been like, hey, dude, I'm working on this. Would love to have you be part of it. Or, hey, man, I got this song. Would love for you to draw. Or you're like, hey, I'm doing this project, and we don't even think about it. Just kind of do it.
Yeah, definitely. I see things all the time, like projects and stuff, where it just feels like it has been over designed, like too much thought has been put into the visuals or basically anything else. So it kind of loses its soul, I think, a little bit.
And what about
That's how I feel. Yeah.
Mandalore? You've been working a lot for this guy. I honestly I hadn't heard of him before you started working on him,
Oh,
but he has such a crazy following.
oh yeah, Mandalore Gaming. I basically how that thing got started. I've been watching his reviews for video games for a long time, and then at the end of one video, he said he was gonna do a review for something Rangers 2, and something Rangers 2 ended up being Space Rangers 2, which was a really it was a game from my childhood that I fondly remember. So I was like, I sent him an email asking, dude, are you gonna do a review for Space Rangers 2? I'd really love that. If you didn't mean it when you said something Rangers, I suggest you do a review for that. And also, I really like your channel. If you want, I could do some art for it. And he suggested that I should do like an animated short for him, which I happily agreed to. So
Dude, that feeling
that's
when
been
you send someone you respect, like something like, hey, just love your stuff, would love to like work with you, and then they respond to you, is such an awesome feeling.
yeah.
Like I love that. I remember when I first started working with Domix, I emailed him, and then I didn't hear back from him for like months, and then he emailed back and he's like, oh yeah, I'd like to use your music, and I was like, great. And then we didn't talk for like another year, and then finally
Oh
I
my
finally
god.
started working. There's like, but just like getting that email, I remember I like couldn't sleep that night. I was just so
Oh
psyched.
my god.
Because you think about it, like when you're a creator, you're like, oh man, I just want to work with people I respect. I just want to be part of these cool
Yeah.
projects. So a lot of the times now, when I'm searching for gigs, I'll literally I won't give them the whole pitch. I won't be like, here's my demo reel. I would just be like, hey, dude, love your stuff, would love to help. And then like, here's my work. I've kind of ditched the big paragraphs and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, if it's shorter, it's sweeter. So you know, it's more honest. I think. Like when you sound like you're a, I don't know. When I see someone sending me stuff and they're really trying to be professional about it, it's okay. But when somebody like lightheartedly sends me something, I always, I guess, respond more positively to it.
Right. Dude, I've been getting the absolute nuttiest emails lately. People think I'm Domix or something because my name's always listed in the credits and in the music and stuff. But
Oh my
some
god.
of the emails I get are absolutely hilarious. First of all, tons of them are in Russian. I
Really?
get probably 2 Russian emails like a month. But when you've been writing music for him for like 4 years, they add up.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of them are just kids who they don't know how to type in email, so it's like 8 paragraphs worth of like word vomit and just a big block text.
Oh my god.
But some of them are sneaky. Some of them are like, like, I'd love to have your music. I'll commission you and stuff. And so I'll like write this thing, and it seems so legit, and their YouTube is all set up nice. But I'm like, why don't I have any uploads? No uploads is so weird. And I just recently I wrote like a little stinger, and then I was like, all right, I'm done. Here you go. And then like, just like silence. And then like I finally heard back, and they're like, oh wait, we can't pay you. So
What?
I just little things like that. I always tell people to like be careful. There's tons of ways to avoid it. You'd think after like 5 or 6 years of writing music, I'd get smart about how I do contracts and do stuff. But sometimes when you're doing a little stinger, little 15-second thing, you're charging like $20 for it. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
you just
whatever.
don't.
Well,
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
don't pay me, it's just gonna be like mildly annoying. It's not gonna be like it's not like I can't like feed my family. I can't feed my dog.
Pay the bills.
Yeah, I need a new icon on this thing. Look at that. My icon is a very close up photo of my dead dog. This dog is dead.
Oh man, you should have
This
said
is
that. God.
It's the memory of my dead dog. Maybe I'll write him a piece of music. All right. Listen, Peter, working with you is fantastic. You're such a talented artist. I love working with you. I love having you as a friend. You're a good pal, and I'm really looking forward to see what you create in the future and what we create together. And congrats on almost finishing up your education.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks for coming on.
No problem. Anytime. All of what you said and back at you.
Thanks, man. So if there's one kind of like piece of advice you want to give to someone who's an artist and they want to start animating, creating, they want to make a channel, they want to start working with people like musicians or other animators, is there anything you want to...
I really want to say, and I've been saying it to all the people that have asked me before, when you're working on a piece and it's not turning up the way you imagined it, don't stop. Just try to finish it, and then just tell yourself in the process of making that piece, the next one is gonna be better. I'm gonna improve what I see the bad things about this one, or I'm gonna improve those in the next, and you just end up having more stuff like and you can see the process, all the road you've taken so far. So yeah, just if something's not turning up the way you want it, just don't stop and finish it, and then the next one is gonna be better.
Yeah, it's okay to like take a step back from it too, like sleep on it a little.
Just a little bit, not too much. If you end up sleeping on it too much, it's gonna...
It just sits. Yeah. Dude, there's this great jazz musician, Sonny Rollins. This guy used to beat himself up on his playing. He hated his own sound. But towards the end of his life, I think he said something like, it's okay to be proud of what you created, but never satisfied.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree. Like, when you're satisfied, you're doing something wrong.
Right on. All right. At Extellus. Check out his YouTube channel, Extellus. You can follow him on Facebook. His page is just called Extellus, Extellus, and his links are in the description. Go check out his wonderful animation. He's a great guy. And thanks for coming, Peter. We'll catch you next time, everybody, on Toons